Hello, and welcome back to Happiness by Habit, where we craft joy one bold yes at a time. Today's guest is the vibrant force behind the bestseller, Say Yes and Figure It Out, the one and only entrepreneur and speaker, Kristin Gutierrez. Welcome to the show, dear Kristin.
Oh my gosh, Silvana, thank you so much for having me. It is a joy to share this stage with you today.
I love it. I want to hear all about how you went from unexpected layoff to award-winning success. Kristen actually proves that imperfect action trumps perfect hesitation every single day. So grab your cafecito and let's get started. I want to hear all about your story, about how you got this started with this amazing move, Say Yes and Figure It Out.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I should have my other book here. It's called Be a Better Sales Leader.
That's a good one. Yes.
So March 1st, 2023, I never tell this version of the story. Is that okay if I give you guys like a little
Yes,
different
go for it.
time?
Let's
So
do
March
it.
1st is my birthday. That's how I know it was March 1st. I paid money to my mentors to learn how to write a book fast. And I started March 1st and I finished the book May 31st, 2023. Be a Better Sales Leader came out 3 months after starting. And this is like before ChatGPT was out, right? And in the middle of that, on April 17th, 2023, I got let go unexpectedly from my job. So the problem was I was a VP of sales and I wanted to become our chief revenue officer. And my CEO was like, you're not ready. And I thought having a book would anchor my expertise I was in the language translation space for almost 20 years. And I thought it would anchor my expertise more to help open up opportunities for other businesses and corporations to see that I was capable of not only being a better sales leader myself, but helping their teams. But in the middle of all of that, I got let go from my job and it was totally unexpected. It was like a mass layoff. And I don't know, have you ever lost a job unexpectedly, Silvana?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, or people listening, anybody.
I know the feeling is not good, to say the least.
When I logged into that Zoom meeting and my SVP of HR was there, I was like,
So good.
I just remember it was a 10-minute call, 10 minutes. And all I kept saying was what about my family? What am I supposed to do? But it was a very corporate in America. It was a very corporate goodbye. They were like, this is the process. This is the paperwork. Thank you very much. And I was texting my then husband, I think I'm being let go from my job. But in that moment, I turned what happened to me into what happened for me. And I LinkedIn launched my business. It's actually in the book. I wish I knew what page it was on. It's like the post I made. I didn't say, woe is me. I didn't say I lost my job. Yeah, see if you can find it. There's 2 pictures in the book. And so
okay.
I just said I'm LinkedIn launching my own business, and it created so much attention. So I started to respond like I would as a salesperson to all of the likes, all of the comments, both on the post and in the DMs. And by 2 p.m. that same day, I landed my first client.
I love it. Amazing. And I love the difference that you make, Kristen, because this situation can happen to anybody. And I'm sure many people have experienced that, unfortunately, or are experiencing that. So that might be a really timely issue right now. But what I discovered in anything that was a challenge in my life, anything bad that some people might say something bad that happened to me, I always found a way to turn that into an opportunity, and 100% all the times it has turned my life for a much better place. So I love that. That's a really nice turn of the story.
Thank you. Be a Better Sales Leader became the calling card to find consulting gigs for me, speaking opportunities. I still am figuring it out, right? Building the plane as you fly. But I got to a point 8 months into my business where I was cash collecting 6 figures, but I was dying in implementation. So it was either always on the phone implementing what I had sold, or I was trying to prospect for more business. And that is when I found my now mentor, who taught me how to charge even higher prices and to serve a different person. So I went from serving small businesses to serving entrepreneurs. And now in the last year, my offer continues to iterate. Like, I really feel like iteration of ourself is the name of the game. If you're not growing, they say you're dying. Like, a plant is the same, right? So how do you just keep moving forward? I accidentally got the name, like, the Say Yes Queen. And
I love that. That's a very powerful name. I mean, really, it's very powerful, the name of your book and the whole movement. Say yes and figure it out, because a lot of people fall into that perfectionism issue, and then they say, no, I'm not ready because it's not perfect. I can improve this and that. So they put their life and their offer, their proposal on hold for forever, some of them. So that's a big difference, right? You say just do it and
yeah,
then
so
figure it out.
that's where the Say Yes and Figure It Out came in. Is kind of like a year into launching my business, I had like this name they started to call me this. And I have really great mentors who would help me package my expertise into a book, right? And also, now that the book's out, it really is like, I've met people like you through the movement of it, and it really is helping people detach from, like you're saying, perfectionism and lean more into just the concept that, like, make a decision, even if it's the wrong decision, and take one step forward. So there's a 4-step framework we can talk about later in the podcast.
Yes, I will definitely love to speak about that. The 4-step: decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate the heck out of everything. Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
because we get scared that we make a decision and then it turns out to not be the right decision, and like we feel like, ooh, but you should celebrate the fact that you figured out fast that it wasn't the right decision, so now you can go make a new decision.
You can just make a turn and tweak your offer and be back on the driver's seat. And then a lot of times people hesitate so much. So just the lack of making a decision, not making a decision, is definitely a step backwards. So we just need to make a decision, even though it might be not the perfect decision. But I find that we always learn, always get something good these experiences. We either gain either money, time, beautiful experience or memories, or we learn how to not do it. We learn from experience. We learn how to improve, no?
Yeah, right. Yes. It is when we realize that science, neuroscience, the science of the brain proves that dopamine, the feel-good chemical that gets released when we work out or eat chocolate or whatever, right? Dopamine, we think dopamine will be released when we accomplish our goal. And that's not true. But when dopamine actually gets released the most is when you make a decision to start. That's when, like, you're most excited. That's like when it feels like, oh my gosh, I can accomplish anything. And so by following the 4-step framework, decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate, and repeating that cycle multiple times within the time frame of your goal, whether that goal takes a day, a month, or a year to complete, now you're constantly refeeding your brain dopamine. And dopamine is what keeps us going. It's actually like part of what tells us, like, oh, good job. Even if you think you're failing because you're making the wrong turn, you're actually doing a good job because you're figuring it out. And we need that dopamine in order to keep going, because it sometimes takes a long time to lose 20 pounds, or a long time to write the book, or a long time to win your first $1 million contract.
I want to hear all about that. That's my next question coming up. But yes, absolutely. But yes, before we dive into that amazing topic about your $1 million offer accepted, I would love to talk about failing forward. There is such a thing that about failing that is not, a lot of people misunderstand that failing is something bad. It's not. It can be turned into something good, as long as because it shows that you're trying. As long as you keep trying, you're going to create some movement and you're going to move forward eventually. So let's talk about that. What are the side effects or of failing forward.
It has such a negative connotation, right? Like if you're listening or watching, like shake your head. Like, Silvana, when is the last time you failed forward?
Well, not too long ago, I had a situation where I need to make a decision, and then I made the decision, and I thought I'm gonna make the best out of this opportunity, and really, it has given me such a wonderful outcome because as a result of that, I launched this very podcast. I lost 20. I wrote my book, like a lot of really, really cool things. I started a new job. It's very, very good things are happening like as a result of that. So I definitely encourage everybody fell forward
Yeah. And
as
it
often
is
as possible.
right. And as fast as possible, because clearly we can see that we can feel it from you that you're somebody who sees like the sunny side of things. Like I would always like hope. The word hope is like a word that just follows me around. I'm a glass half full type of person. And one of
Mm.
my really good friends, she is very much a glass half full. Or what am I? I'm the positive side. She's the negative.
Yeah, has half empty, half empty.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how to say it,
Yeah,
right?
but I got you.
I actually had to say to her yesterday, I named her by her name, and I was like, turn off the negative self-talk. But sometimes we don't even know we're doing it, and we need somebody to hold up a mirror to us. So, like, what does that have to do with failing forward? It's because we get stuck in these patterns of thinking that the world is out to get us, or imposter syndrome, like that might be okay for you, but like you don't know how I feel, right? Or I can't do that because of all of these internal limiting beliefs that we have. And what we fail to realize is that by simply taking a step, by making a decision and taking a step, even if it doesn't turn out to be right, there's always a benefit of it not being right. And that's what you and I, people like you and I, we see the glass half full. But people with a negative self-talk, negative patterns, belief system, they're going to say, I failed again, right? And so when you reframe or reverse engineer how we think about failing and think of it as like failing forward or making just the next right decision, now our
Yes.
brains aren't punishing us. Our brains aren't saying, oh, like you messed up again. Like, of course you did. No, our brain is rewarding us by saying, good job for trying. Just like we would congratulate our 4-year-old or our 1-year-old or our 7-year-old. Like, we'd be like, good job for trying. So somehow in adulthood, we lose that. And that's, I think, for me, the definition of failing forward is like learning that all trial and error is positive. It's pushing you toward the right outcome. You just we can't see it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. And one of the things, more dangerous things about limiting beliefs is that they are for the people who has, well, we all have those type of beliefs at some point. Is what you do with those, right? Trying to to silence those because they are very bad for you, and they are a lot of times they are constant in, and in what we there is something very true that is when we concentrate expands, no? So talking
Yes.
about the half full glass versus a half empty glass, when we concentrate in abundance, when we concentrate in good things, that definitely manifests and expands, which is very natural thing that happens. And some people believe that is optimism, but it's not really just you're manifesting, you're bringing that into your life because you're concentrating in that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. You are 100%. You are 100%. I fully believe the same. Yes.
Yes,
And I
totally.
fully believe in like quantum leaps. And like
Mm-hmm.
the definition of a quantum leap is that something can, like a particle of mass can be here and then it can be
Mm-hmm.
over here instantaneously without any like rhyme or reason, basically. And that's really how like the say yes and figure it out framework allows us to keep evolving ourselves as business owners or as female entrepreneurs or as
Mm-hmm.
women, right? When you learn that like everything you want is on the back end of your next decision. So some decisions will go your way, other decisions won't, but like you have to just keep picking yourself up and keep going and going and going. And when you wrap that, it's not without disappointment. It's not without hardship. It's not without some tears. But when you
Yeah.
when you learn to reframe it, that's what gives you like the momentum to keep going. You're like, everything I want is on the next side of is my next decision.
How important is to have a community to support your decisions and your empowerment, your business?
Have you read Think and Grow Rich, the book
Yes,
by
I
Napoleon?
have. Yes, Napoleon Hill.
So when Napoleon Hill went to write Think and Grow Rich, he wanted to interview some of like the smartest, wealthiest people in the world to see if they shared characteristics. And the man that he interviewed in those days was Andrew Carnegie, right? And so he interviewed Andrew Carnegie and a bunch of other wealthy people, and he found out that they had 16 characteristics, all the same. Of those 16 characteristics, the cool thing was nobody was born with them. So this means that anybody can become the wealthiest person. Anybody can have all of the success. Anybody can have anything they want in life, right? When they focus on the abundance versus lack. And so one of those characteristics was community, or like a mastermind. And that's why I tell that story, because I think it's also Napoleon Hill that says when 3 or more people get together, they elevate into a third eye, which is a mastermind. And the mastermind is really when crazy ideas come to be and like so much momentum can get built. I mean, this book is a result of a community. The success of the book is a result of the community. All of my success, even in corporate, was because I found communities within my industry. I was part of Women in Localization, a nonprofit, association that fed to the advancement of women in their careers for the translation localization industry. That was a community. And by being in that community, I got to network and be friends with my peers who were selling translation and with heavy hitter women stakeholders working at big, giant tech companies. And so we all got to network and commune together. Now that I work for myself, I have different types of communities. I have my own community, and I'm part of my mentor's community. And so this is what I believe of communities, but it's also based on the fact that Napoleon Hill says like it's one of the 16 characteristics of becoming successful. And you get to define what success means to you.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I think the power of having a community is so key because it helps you grow, empowers you, and you can learn from a mentor or from like-minded individuals to help you get you where you need to be. And speaking of community, you and I belong to one community together. And I also am part of your community of launching the book. As such, I learned about this amazing news that you experienced recently. I would love to talk about that. About your first $1 million offer accepted. That's so awesome. Congratulations, Kristin. Tell us all about it, please.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, this brings a few principles together. One of them is focusing on abundance. One of them is being in community. And one of them is quantum leaping. So the thing is, in corporate, in the language space where I spent 18 plus 20 years, I sold multi-million-dollar language programs to big companies. Like it wasn't my account, but like one of my colleagues sold iRobot. I don't know. It's the Roomba.
Yeah, I have one. Yes.
So imagine, and I was in it for 20 years, but imagine companies like that were going global for the first time. And in order to translate, and you don't speak English as a first language, so this all makes sense to you, but like for people listening, right, they have to translate the buttons. If there's buttons on the Roomba or a screen on the room, like they have to translate that into other languages. They have to translate user guides. They have to translate online support. Everything gets translated. And these will be like $1 million, $2 million bids. But Microsoft spent $80 million with one of the companies I was at, and we were not their only vendor. So these Google, Apple, big companies are spending hundreds of millions of dollars, no joke, a year on language translation services. And so was I also selling $1,000 things sometimes? Yes, right? But like I had been groomed as an enterprise sales rep to sell $1 million contracts and bigger. right? And
Mhm.
sometimes we missed and sometimes we hit, and it would take 18 months. I tell this story because it was always in me. I've been doing it my whole life, but I've been doing it for somebody else. So when I started to work for myself, I was selling $5,000 consulting gigs, and that's a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
It's like not
Mhm.
a lot of money, but I was still stuck, and we were in a financial crisis in my family, so it was very bad. It wasn't enough. And so then I learned the art and strategy of higher ticket offers. And so in the past 2 years, I've been working very diligently to learn how to tie my old self to my new self, because I never, ever, ever want to go back to working for somebody else. But you have to step into the belief, this is the
Mhm.
abundance, and you have to step into the belief that even if you never did what I did in my past, that you're capable of it too. You have to
Mhm.
step into the belief that you're capable of writing a book, even though I didn't grow up. Did you grow up, Silvana, wanting to write a book, or was this something that you just did?
I think it was in the back of my head since I was a child, but
I love
yes,
that.
it became a realization recently, but yes.
I love asking that question because everybody, like, it was not on my radar at all, right?
Mhm.
But that's what's so cool is like it's been in your radar for your whole life, and you needed to instantly decide it was going to become a reality. And so the mastermind aspect of this, I partnered with somebody else. I was at a community, I was at an event, and somebody who we've met before, we just were like sitting next to each other. And I think our energy was like radiating off of each other. I'm not really sure how it came to be, but all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, you do this and I do this. If we put it together, this would be like miraculous.
Yeah.
And we've been out there now under the covers making a bunch of offers, right? Because like in sales, I know that there's a bunch of ways you can win business. Now, to network your book, you could just put your book on a landing page. It could be Amazon, it could be your own landing page, and you could like hope that the people come. Or you could go out there and like start to like network about your event. Find people like Stacy Lauren to like make your book catch on fire, right? Or or
Oof.
yeah, or I don't, it's a number of things you can do to market your book, to sell
Mhm.
your offer. You just have to
Mhm.
be willing to have a line in the sand deep enough that you're going to get over your excuses, and the framework, say yes and figure it out, helps. You just need to decide you're going to market it. You need to take one step. You need to lean in, and you need to celebrate. Celebrate every no. Celebrate every person who ignores you. Celebrate everybody who says that's too good to be true, right? Whatever it is. And you just need to keep going and like decide I'm going to post about it. Decide I'm going to. And so, yeah, this win of the contract, it's actually a bigger contract than that. My brain is still catching up to what's happening.
You just say it because yeah, you just say, I know what it is, a full number, but you just say it. It's more than 1,000,000.
It is. Yeah, I'm not gonna like it.
Okay, whatever.
I feel good with where it is because that should be what my business, me and my partner, we recognize
Your part.
together.
Yes,
Yeah,
your
yeah. It's like,
contribution.
oh my
I
gosh,
love it. I love it. And
thank you,
you totally deserve it. You earn it and you are worth that and more. So I'm so happy to see you succeed. Really, really, really good, Kristen.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. I would love to ask you a question that is, what is your why? What is the reason for doing all of these things?
Yeah. Do you have kids too?
I do have two of them,
How old
Sabrina
are
and
they?
Salvatore, 9 and 10.
Sabrina and Salvatore. I love that. Oh my god. Okay, mine are
Yes, you have
Gibson.
two boys.
Yes, Gibson is 7 and basically 7, and Jack will be 5. His real name is Griffin. That's a whole conversation for a different day, but
For another podcast episode. Yeah.
his name is Jack. Obviously, the people in our lives are our
Mm-hmm.
why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about this a lot recently because before I had kids very late in life, and I used to say to my sister who had kids very early, my sister is 2 years older than me, and her daughters are in college. So, like,
Wow.
she had them early, I had them late, right? So she has, like, 22-year-olds, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. She has
Oh.
a son in there too, but my point is that I used to say, like, "I don't have kids." Like, it's so funny because your why, actually, it just has to make you cry. And it has to be something that like so intrinsically deep down. For me, it became nobody else's opinions pay my bills. Because in the midst of my financial crisis, after I lost my job, I took another job for a minute. One of my consulting clients offered me a job. It only lasted 4 months. I'm so glad it didn't work out. And I only took the job because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of a divorce. I'm in the middle of a financial crisis. We're having to make tons of money every month. I'm barely keeping my head alive. Like I'm dying in implementation. Maybe I should take the job to like lessen the pressure. It was just a different kind of pressure, you know?
Yeah.
And when that job didn't work out, I just drew a line in the sand as like nobody else's opinions pay my bills because everybody has an opinion about something. One of the opinions was Kristin is the girl who always posts selfies. I don't know who said it. They said it like 2 years ago at this point, but things like that are so harmless, they get stuck in your head. And whether it sounds ridiculous to somebody else or not, it becomes the reason you don't post or you don't show up online for months. And that happened to me. And when I declared that nobody else's opinion paid my bill, the line in the sand or my why was so deep that I was doing it for myself and for my kids and for their kids and for generational wealth and for the rest of my family and for my now baby daddy, ex-husband, and for his family, right? Because they're so good to us. I decided I'm doing it for everyone, but I'm fundamentally doing it for myself because I need to show up online as me authentically with as many selfies as I feel like it for that day, let alone for that week. And I can't shout loud enough about who I am and how I continue to iterate myself and fail forward and say yes and figure it out. I can't do that enough, loud enough. And that became my why. I'm like,
I love it.
don't get me fired up.
Yes, I love it. It's so powerful. That is really powerful. Let's talk about what is next for you because you are actually this is still like you even have a book launch scheduled in the next couple of days. It's not even officially, I guess, launching the party and everything, but it's already a best-selling book. So congrats on that. What is coming up for you after this, Kristen? What can we expect from you in the next few months?
Oh my gosh, I know. Thank you.
The sky is the limit, by the way. You are like, just keep it going.
I love seeing when you look back how everything's stacking up. I started a year when I stopped selling sales consulting and started serving entrepreneurs. I started with say yes and figure it out, but I wasn't, there was something missing. And so then I leaned into high ticket offers. And then my mentor said, I was like, oh, the first book is like obsolete. Be a Better Sales Leader is obsolete. She never even read it. And all she had to say to me was like, no, it's not. And I love looking back to see how it all stacks on top of each other. So now I'm really stepping into this belief that I'm capable with my partner and whomever, I'm capable of helping entrepreneurs who are stuck at 6 and 7 figures a year scale their business to 6-figure and 7-figure days. If you believe in abundance, if you believe in quantum leaping, if you believe anything's possible, if you believe in the 16 characteristics of what make wealthy people successful or successful people wealthy, right? If you believe in community and a mastermind, then you'll believe that like it's turning the dial 1%. And this win we just started talking about, it's repeatable hundreds of times over because I am not, unlike in corporate, I'm not dying in implementation with this contract. I can go win 5 more right now. They might all look a little bit different because they will, right? But this isn't something I'll be dying in implementation for. So my next season is really stepping more into this, helping entrepreneurs scale fast and giving them the strategies of high ticket offers, one-to-many, and like implementing systems into their business so that they can implement it and go off to the races by themselves.
I love it. And let's talk about like even though it is a high ticket offer, and a lot of people might struggle with even presenting a high ticket offer because they might have self doubt, imposter syndrome, and other things. But yes, I think the key here is that on the value that the customer is gonna receive, because it's gonna be like 10 times your fee, or like at least it's gonna be exponentially bigger than what you are charging. Obviously, that's why it's okay to charge what you charge. because the
Right.
value added to your customer.
Right. Thank you. So here's the thing, and why my corporate background is so interesting, because I was in a commoditized industry. So if you guys are tracking, $1 million translation programs, but translations are bought at pennies to the dollar. You're spending 12 cents a word to do translations. And unfortunately, then the big vendors are middlemen. They're using individual translators at their house who's trying to grow a business and keep their lights on. They're being paid 4 cents a word, and the vendor's marking it up to 10 cents a word and selling it to the end client, right? But as the so whether that's right or wrong, it is factually how the world goes around, right? As a salesperson, this is a very commoditized industry. There are hundreds of thousands of translation vendors, hundreds. So I am a dime a dozen. As a salesperson or as a VP of sales, I'm a dime a dozen. There's hundreds of me, right? All the vendors have different sales strategies, but I had to differentiate my services from my competitors' services, even though we were selling the exact same thing, and even though it's a commoditized sale. So I see you shaking your head. So that's tracking. The same is true in high ticket offers or $1 million contracts. It doesn't matter what you call it, right? The same is true. You have to focus on the payoff. You have to focus on the ROI, the return on investment. You have to, the customer, the person buying from you, the individual, the entrepreneur, the business, whoever they are, they have to believe and understand what the payoff is to their business. So if you spend $1 million and I give you 5 million, is that a good deal? If you spend 100 and I give you 1,000, is that a good deal? Like wealthy people, wait, did we freeze? Are you still tracking?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Wealthy people believe that wealthy people make decisions quickly and change their mind slowly, successful people. And then other people actually make their decisions slowly and change their mind often and frequently. But billionaires, they know that leverage is the key to making more money. So how does anybody own a big, huge high rise or a big, huge apartment complex? It really is leverage. And that's based on borrowing other people's money in order to make deals work. But it's also factually if I spend $1 million over here and I make $2 million over there, is it worth it? And the answer is often yes.
That's right. That is a big difference. So you're focusing on the bigger customers where they can appreciate more the value of the offer that you provide.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm really just in it to help other people make more money. I want to have a huge impact. So I'll continue to have lower ticket offers. I'll continue to have bigger offers. The money is great, but for the first time in my life, I really see that the impact you have on others is what fulfills you. It's what fills your cup to keep pouring into others. So while this deal in particular is fun, I mean, we still have to do the work, right? We inked the contract. Right. Now we have to do the work. It's fun. And so there's a million ways. I just as committed to working for myself. Nobody else's opinions pay my bills. I'm going to keep iterating my offers as long as I'm having fun. I'm getting ready to go on a yacht for a week. And I hope I don't have to work. But if I'm checking in with clients on voice memos, I'm actually okay with that because it's fun.
That makes a big difference to make it fun, because it's something, as you say, is fulfilling. It fills your cup, it fills your heart. And because you do it from a heart-centered point of view, you are able to help more and authentically, right? It's a really good place to be. Awesome.
It makes me so happy. Coaching clients who have spent pennies to get in with me. And somebody just told me that they won their first $25,000 sale on the back end of knowing how to run masterclasses and webinars, but in their case, over teaching, using a different system, leaning in to certain things too much versus leaning out. And it was a very challenging couple of days. Hopefully he's going to speak on my stage soon to say, I want him to acknowledge the challenging I honestly said to him and his wife, maybe we should just call the engagement, because people have to be coachable, right? I never say this is the only way. But if you pay to work with me and you're just so resistant to what I'm suggesting, maybe it's not a good fit, and that's okay. But they were like, no. And 3 days later, then they held a masterclass, and they're like, it was effortless. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And they have had 2 calls so far. And the second call was a yes into a
I
$25,000
love it.
offer.
That's wonderful. And the first offer that gets accepted at that level, I mean, it really makes a big difference in their lives from many points of views, not only financially, but also from confidence, no? Definitely it's a confidence boost.
All day
Big
long.
time.
So many people, me included, we needed the money so bad that like I'm not going to discount the impact the money has, but you need you need to win. We need a win, and that's what the Say Yes and Figure It Out framework does. Is it hedges your bet or it guarantees the win because now you're celebrating even the losses. When the first call didn't close, they didn't get like all down and out. They were like, what's the lesson learned here? Well, in that case, it just might be an unqualified buyer. Like that happens. But then they're like, coach me, coach. How do we win the second one? And he just texted me right before. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Love it, love it. That's
No, that's
amazing.
impact. That's like, it fills your.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely, definitely, definitely. That's the best. That's awesome. Well, I'm so excited. All the things, the good things that are happening for you and to the people that you coach, and it's only gonna get better because you are gonna get the momentum going, and everything thing is good stuff. Kristen, I would like to get from you what is a good takeaway that you would like the audience to get from this conversation.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me. It really is. I think for me, and I'll be interested, what's your takeaway? But like, I don't know. I mean, tiny little microscopic steps. Like Rome wasn't built in a day, or how do you eat an elephant? They say one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Like, I know I know a lot of people, they need to have their I's dotted, their T's crossed. They need to have everything figured out before they start moving. But if you relinquish control, if you relinquish perfectionism and simply lean into imperfect action, you'll be blown away at the results that you too can have and then the fulfillment that will follow. So that would be my takeaway, is like lean in to imperfect action.
I love it. And I would agree with you. One of my takeaways is that got stuck on my head is the framework, the 4 step: decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate. It can be applied to big decisions, little decisions, but it is very important to make a decision anyhow, because if we postpone it and we say, no, I'm not ready, no, it's okay. I prefer 100 times to do something the best I can with the resources I have in that moment than not do it and postpone it for some time that might be never. So I encourage everybody to go ahead and make a decision, take a step, lean in, and celebrate, and say yes and figure it out later. Buy this book. This book is a bestseller in Amazon, and it's really, really, really good. And you have it also in audio. Are you gonna have it audiobook yet? That's kind of in the making, I think, right? Or maybe.
Yeah.
Might be. Yeah, TBD. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kristen. I really appreciate your time and your wisdom sharing with us. In the meantime, I really appreciate everybody listening. Your next breakthrough is one brave yes away. Yes, if today spark a fire for you, please follow the show and share this episode with someone who needs a nudge. Until next time, keep crafting joy one say yes at a time, one yes at a time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.